Hi friends, welcome back to Timeless Wisdom. Imagine being 68 years old, standing in a dining room overflowing with 45 years of memories and belongings. That's where Margaret found herself, completely surrounded by decades of possessions, feeling as if the walls were closing in. She had just 48 hours before the moving truck would arrive, and her grown children lived far away with families of their own. With her energy running low and the emotional burden of a lifetime's collection weighing her down, Margaret felt completely overwhelmed. But what happened next was truly inspiring. Margaret managed to clear out her entire 4-bedroom house in just 2 days. By the end, she felt lighter, more hopeful, and excited for the next chapter of her life, something she hadn't felt in years. So what was her breakthrough? Margaret discovered 7 powerful decluttering strategies, especially designed for seniors, that turned everything she thought about tidying up on its head. These aren't the usual tips you've heard before, and they actually work, even if you're feeling tired, stuck, or don't know where to begin. Today, I'm sharing Margaret's step-by-step approach, so you can experience the same life-changing results. If you want more senior-friendly tips every week, make sure to subscribe, tap the bell, and give this video a like so more people can find it. And please share your own decluttering challenges in the comments below. Whether it's sentimental items, low energy, or just not knowing how to start, I read every single comment, and your story might be just what someone else needs to take that first step. Margaret was no neat freak, far from it. After losing her partner of 40 years, her home had become a shrine to the past, a museum of memories she couldn't bear to touch. Every corner held remnants of her life as a teacher, a mother, a wife, and a community volunteer. Does that sound familiar? Maybe you're holding on to your own collection of sentimental items, or perhaps you're drowning in practical things you might need someday. Here's why Margaret's story is so powerful. She didn't spend months agonizing over every item like most decluttering experts suggest. Instead, she used 7 unconventional, no-nonsense hacks, tailored for seniors grappling with decades of possessions, limited physical stamina, and deep emotional ties to their belongings. By the end of this video, you'll have Margaret's step-by-step playbook. Practical, hard-hitting strategies that deliver results fast, without the fluff or feel-good platitudes. But here's the thing that blew me away. Margaret didn't just declutter her home, she decluttered her life, opening the door to a vibrant new chapter. Let's dive into her system, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to join our community of seniors ready to reclaim their space and their future. Hack 1. The Brutal Sort Method. Margaret's first hack is called the Brutal Sort Method, inspired by battlefield medics who make split-second, life-or-death decisions under pressure. Just like medics don't have time to debate every case, you can't afford to agonize over every possession. This hack saved Margaret from the indecision that had kept her trapped for 3 years after her partner's passing. Here's how it works. In just 10 minutes per room, divide everything into 3 categories. Category 1. Must keep. Absolute essentials like medications, important documents, or that one teapot you use daily. Category 2. Maybe. The danger zone where most people stall out. Category 3. Haven't used in a year. Automatic toss. No exceptions. No excuses. Here's the brutal twist that makes this method so effective. Treat maybe like toss. Margaret realized that maybe is just fear masquerading as practicality, and fear will keep you buried in clutter forever. She started in her kitchen, the heart of her home, where necessity is easiest to judge. In 10 minutes, she sorted through 19 teacups, when she only drinks coffee now, 4 sets of pots from her day's catering church events, and a waffle iron she hadn't touched since 1995. She kept her favourite coffee mug, a chipped, cheerful yellow one her daughter painted in 3rd grade, donated the teacups to a local charity, and tossed the waffle iron, which hadn't even worked in years. The speed of the process forced her to trust her instincts, and the results were immediate. A kitchen that felt open and functional for the first time in a decade. But the real breakthrough came when she applied this to her dining room. Margaret had 12 tablecloths, some still in their original packaging from the 1980s, and 3 sets of silverware for a family that no longer gathered for big holiday meals. She kept 1 tablecloth for small gatherings, donated the rest, and felt a weight lift off her shoulders. The emotional shift was profound. She realized that holding on to things just in case wasn't making her feel secure. It was making her feel trapped, anxious, and overwhelmed every time she opened a cabinet. The brutal sort method gave her permission to let go of indecision, and each room she tackled made her more confident to be even more ruthless with the next. Objection. What if I don't have 48 hours to declutter? No problem. This method works just as well if you spread it over a week or even a month. Just tackle 1 room or even 1 corner at a time. The key is to make quick decisions and stick to them. What's your biggest maybe category? Kitchen gadgets, old clothes, or stacks of papers? Drop it in the comments and let's name it to tame it. Hack 2. The 8-minute Blitz. Margaret's second hack saved her from the exhaustion that derails most decluttering attempts before they gain momentum. Seniors have limited emotional energy, about 8 minutes before decision fatigue sets in, and every choice feels overwhelming. Margaret discovered that after this threshold, she'd start keeping everything just to avoid the mental strain of deciding. So she set an 8-minute timer for each small area, not a whole room, but a single drawer, a closet shelf, or a bathroom cabinet. When the timer buzzed, she stopped, even if she wasn't finished. This single rule transformed decluttering from a grueling marathon into manageable sprints. Here's why it worked. In 8 minutes, you can't overthink. You're forced to trust your gut. Margaret started with her bathroom cabinet, a chaotic mess of expired products and forgotten items. In one 8-minute blitz, she tossed lotions from 2001, 6 half-used shampoo bottles, and a hairdryer that sparked ominously the last time she tried it. She filled an entire trash bag and reclaimed space she'd forgotten existed. The next blitz was her bedside table drawer, stuffed with old reading glasses, expired coupons, and a dozen pens that didn't write. In another 8 minutes, she kept 1 good pair of glasses and tossed the rest, creating a drawer that felt calm and useful. The genius of this hack is in the stopping. By pausing while she still had energy and mental clarity, Margaret avoided the burnout that had paralysed her for years. She actually started looking forward to her next 8-minute session, turning decluttering into a series of small victories. By the end of day 1, she'd completed 20 sessions, over 2.5 hours of focused, productive work, without feeling drained or overwhelmed. She took breaks to make tea, call her daughter, or simply rest, which kept her refreshed and energised for the next sprint. Margaret found that this approach worked especially well in her living room, where she had 22 throw pillows for a couch that seated 4 8 Afghans, despite keeping her thermostat at 74 degrees, and a collection of dusty figurines she hadn't noticed in years. Each 8-minute blitz tackled 1 small area, a shelf, a side table, making the room feel lighter with every session. Objection. What if I can't focus for 8 minutes? No worries. Try 5 minutes, or even 3. The key is short, focused bursts that feel doable no matter your stamina. Do you try to tackle entire rooms at once and end up quitting? Share in the comments how that approach has worked or not worked for you. I bet Margaret's burnout story will feel all too familiar. Hack 3. The outsider test. The third hack is brutal but absolutely brilliant. Margaret imagined a complete stranger sorting through her belongings after she was gone, asking one simple question. Would they think I'm a hoarder, or would they understand why I kept this? This mental shift stripped away the emotional fog of guilt, nostalgia, and obligation, letting her see her possessions with crystal clarity. She started with her collection of 15 vases from her flower arranging hobby, a passion she hadn't pursued in over a decade. Would a stranger keep vases for a hobby that no longer exists? No, they donate them to someone who loves flowers. Out they went to a local community centre. Her sentimental items were a bigger challenge. Boxes of her kids' old report cards, spelling bee certificates and school projects. Would a stranger keep 30 years of C's and B's or faded construction paper art? Obviously not. She kept one special report card per child, her son's first A in math, her daughter's glowing teacher comments, and let the rest go without guilt. This hack worked miracles in her closet. Margaret had 12 winter coats for a town with mild winters, some unworn since her teaching days. A stranger wouldn't keep a dozen coats for occasional chilly days. They'd donate them to a shelter where they'd be used daily. She kept one warm jacket and donated the rest, feeling lighter with every decision. The emotional breakthrough came when she realised that holding on to items out of guilt wasn't honouring her past. It was stealing space from her present. She applied the outsider test to her garage, where she found old camping gear from family trips 20 years ago. A stranger wouldn't keep tents with broken zippers for a woman who no longer camps. She donated them to a scout troop, imagining kids enjoying new adventures. Objection: what if I'm too attached to let go of sentimental items? Start with less emotional areas like the kitchen or bathroom to build confidence before tackling memory-heavy spaces. What item in your home would a stranger toss without a second thought? Magazines, extra dishes, or outdated electronics? Drop it in the comments. Naming it out loud is the first step to breaking free from clutter's grip. Hack 4. The cost of clutter. Check Margaret's fourth hack demolished her biggest fear. What if I need this someday and can't replace it? She developed the Cost of Clutter Check, asking 3 brutal questions for every item she hesitated to release. 1. Can I replace this if I need it? 2. How much would it cost? 3. When did I last use it in the past 5 years? These questions exposed the truth behind her just-in-case mentality. She applied this to her garage, stuffed with tools from her DIY days. Could she replace a rusty hammer? Yes, for $5 at any hardware store. Last used? Never. She hired professionals for repairs now. She kept one good screwdriver and donated the rest to a neighbour starting a home repair business. Her craft supplies were next. Piles of yarn for knitting projects she'd never start. Fabric scraps from sewing she no longer enjoyed. Replacement cost? $10 max at a craft store. Last used? Over 15 years ago. Out they went to a local art program. The math was undeniable. The cost of keeping these items, cluttered space, mental stress and constant cleaning was far higher than the cost of replacing them if she ever needed to. The real revelation came with furniture. Margaret had an old sofa in her garage, just in case she needed extra seating for a big gathering. Replacement cost? $50 at a thrift store? Cost of keeping it? A cramped garage that stressed her out every time she parked her car. She donated it to a young family furnishing their first home. Her kitchen appliances got the same treatment. A bread maker used once in 12 years. A juicer from a short-lived health kick. Replacement cost for either? Under $30 at a thrift store. Meanwhile, they were stealing counter space and making her kitchen feel chaotic. She donated them to a community kitchen, feeling a surge of relief. Objection. What if I can't afford to replace things? Focus on items you haven't used in years. They're likely not critical to your daily life. If you're worried about cost, check local donation centres or online marketplaces for affordable replacements. What's one item you're keeping just in case that you could replace for under $15? Extra tools, old linens, or kitchen gadgets? Share it in the comments and let's do this reality check together to free up your space. Hack 5. the energy priority scale, Margaret's fifth hack saved her from the emotional burnout that stops most decluttering attempts dead in their tracks. She realised that seniors have limited emotional energy to spend agonising over every object, so she created the energy priority scale, rating items from 1, no emotional value, trash immediately, to 10, irreplaceable, deserves careful attention. This system let her invest her energy only in what truly mattered. Her book collection was the perfect test case. Old mystery novels she'd read once and would never touch again rated 1, straight to the donation box for the library sale. Her mother's gardening journal, filled with handwritten notes and sketches, rated 10, carefully cleaned and stored in an archival box. Her closet was next, 50 dresses crammed into a space meant for 20, but she only wore 10 regularly. Most rated 1 to 3, donated to a women's shelter without hesitation. Her favourite dress, a vibrant blue one that made her feel confident, rated 9, kept and hung properly with space to breathe. This hack revealed a surprising truth. Margaret was wasting emotional energy on items that didn't matter, like chipped mugs or faded curtains, while neglecting functional clutter that frustrated her daily life, like a desk drawer so full she couldn't open it. She applied the scale to her office. Old tax returns, 1, shredded if over 7 years old. Insurance policies, 10, properly filed. Random receipts, 3, tossed after a quick scan. The result was a desk she could actually use for writing letters to her grandchildren. Objection. What if everything feels important? Start with one small category, like clothes or papers, and rate just 10 items to practice. You'll quickly see what deserves your energy. What's draining your emotional energy? Piles of papers, unused decor, or broken appliances? Comment below and let's identify your energy vampires. Naming them is the first step to reclaiming your peace of mind. Hack 6, the next chapter. Test Margaret's sixth hack was a total game changer, shifting her entire perspective on decluttering. She started making decisions based on who she was becoming, not who she was. The next chapter test asks one powerful question. Does this item serve the person I want to be, or is it tying me to a past I've outgrown? This approach was revolutionary because it focused on excitement for the future, not guilt about the past. Her teaching supplies from her 30-year career as an elementary school teacher were the first test. She'd kept boxes of lesson plans, grade books, and bulletin board decorations, representing decades of dedication. But her next chapter involved volunteering at a library and learning photography. Those supplies weren't serving her future. They were anchoring her to a completed past. She donated them to new teachers, imagining them sparking creativity in classrooms. Her kitchen followed. Heavy cookware for big family dinners didn't fit her new life of simple meals, travel, and hosting small book club gatherings. She kept one versatile pan and donated the rest, creating a kitchen that felt peaceful and aligned with her goals. The emotional shift was profound when she tackled her partner's belongings. Margaret had kept his fishing gear thinking it honoured his memory, but her future self wanted to focus on healing and new experiences, not maintaining a shrine. She kept his favourite fishing hat, which brought her joy, and donated the rest to a community program for kids. This mindset made letting go exciting. She wasn't losing her past. She was making room for her next adventure. She cleared space in her spare room for a photography nook, replacing dusty binders with a camera, tripod, and a small table for editing photos. Objection. What if I don't know who I'm becoming? Try one new hobby or goal, like joining a book club or taking a class, to guide your decisions. Who's your next chapter self, and what do they need to thrive? Space for a new hobby, a calmer home, or room to breathe? Share your vision in the comments. Declaring it publicly can give you the courage to let go of what's holding you back. Hack 7. The gratitude. Goodbye, Margaret's seventh and final hack, was the key to preventing regret and sealing her transformation. She created gratitude goodbye rituals to honour items before letting them go, turning guilt and loss into closure and gratitude. Instead of sneaking items out in trash bags like she was ashamed, she thanked each one for its role in her life, making every decision feel meaningful. For her partner's old sweaters, she held a memory ritual, recalling cosy evenings by the fire while he wore them. She thanked them for their warmth, then donated them to a homeless shelter, knowing they'd comfort someone else. Her kids' old toys, plastic dinosaurs, dollhouses and board games, were tougher. She took photos of each item, created a digital memory lane album to share with her children, and donated the physical toys to a daycare. Her chipped dishes, used for countless family dinners, got a thank you for years of service before heading to textile recycling. Even her old sewing machine, untouched for 20 years, got a ritual. She thanked it for the curtains she'd made for her first home, then passed it to a young neighbour learning to sew. These rituals made every decision final and peaceful. Without them, Margaret caught herself second-guessing, even pulling items from donation bags. The gratitude goodbye transformed letting go into an act of love, not loss. Her most moving ritual was for her wedding photos. She had 18 albums, many filled with blurry shots or duplicates. She held a memory celebration, thanking each batch for capturing her love story, then condensed them into 2 albums that truly told her journey. The rest were recycled, knowing the memories lived in her heart. Objection: what if rituals feel silly or take too much time? Try a simple mental thank you. It takes seconds and still brings closure. What sentimental item is hardest for you to let go? Photos, clothes, or kids' artwork? Comment with a gratitude goodbye idea to release it with love instead of guilt. Let's make letting go a celebration, the transformation, and your challenge. When the moving van arrived 48 hours later, Margaret was ready. She donated 15 truckloads to families in need, kept only what served her next chapter, and felt unshackled from the weight of her past. Her home was no longer a museum, it was a launch pad for her future. 6 months later, she called me from her new apartment, her voice brimming with excitement. Her words stuck with me. I didn't just declutter my home, I decluttered my for what's next. She's now teaching photography classes at the senior centre, volunteering at a library, and planning her first solo trip to Italy, a dream she'd shelved for decades. Decluttering isn't about losing memories, it's about making room for the life you deserve. Now it's your turn. Choose just one of these decluttering tips and give it a try today. Maybe start with a quick 8-minute cleanup of a single drawer or shelf. Then let me know in the comments what you decided to let go or donate. I love hearing your stories, and who knows, you might even be featured in an upcoming episode. Ready for a bigger challenge? Try the brutal sort approach in one room this week and share your progress with us. Don't forget to hit the like button so more people can discover these helpful strategies. Be sure to subscribe and tap the notification bell for more weekly tips and motivation. Your next chapter starts right here. If you know someone who could use a fresh start, please share this video with them, whether it's a friend, a parent, or a neighbour. Which of these methods are you most excited to try first? And what's the very first item you're ready to say goodbye to? Leave your answer in the comments. I reply to every single one. Thanks for watching Timeless Wisdom, where we're decluttering our homes and making space for the life we deserve. Until next time, take care and keep moving forward.